Well, greetings, everybody. Not going to keep it too long here. Thank you for inviting me in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I've been getting some pretty decent subscriptions going. Before too awful long, maybe in another 10 years, I'll be able to do live chat. But anyway, what I came here today to ask you to do is to pray for this lady here, as well as this other woman here. And I'm endorsing the work that they're doing. This here is a nurse. She's not in New York, but she knows somebody that asked her to bring forth this video where it speaks about they're actually murdering the patients. And it's a horrible thing to say. It's a horrible thing for people to even think, but we knew these things were coming. Those that come to the videos here are quite exceptional with the intelligence, and you can figure things out pretty well. But anyway, this was put out by Demon Hunters, April 26, 2020. Please do watch it. I'll leave the link for this. Like I say, she expounds upon how they're actually murdering people, and it comes from a woman that is in the intensive care unit, where they're not even allowed to go near the patients. In fact, they run hoses from the inhalators there, where it helps them to breathe. They run a tube from outside the door all the way up to the patient to have them breathe, because they don't even want to go in to check on these individuals. And it's a horror that's going on. Please give it a watch, get yourself informed. Now, this woman here is someone special as well, but this woman, let me run the introduction here from this show, which I'm doing for educational purposes only, and I will leave the link for this as well. But just listen to this introduction for this woman here.
Welcome to Vibe. And here's your host, Robin Openshaw.
Hey everyone, it's Robin Openshaw. Welcome back to the Vibe Show. Today's episode is probably the most exciting one I've ever done in almost 200 episodes now. I interviewed Dr. Judy Mikovits. She is a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology, and she has just released an incendiary book called Plague of Corruption. Her co-author is Kent Heckenlively. He is an attorney, and it's an amazing book about the 40 years that she spent in immunology and virology, where she talks about how we have been inventing viruses, genetically modifying viruses for profit and plunder, basically. Her first interaction with Tony Fauci, who is the highest ranked epidemiologist in the United States and leading the charge on COVID-19, spans back close to 4 decades ago. She talks about everything from the falsehoods and fraud in how we treat disease, to vaccine theory, to the germ theory of disease versus the terrain theory. She talks about things that actually do work about COVID-19 that you'll never hear from Tony Fauci. She talks about censorship. She talks about vaccines driving pandemics. She talks about why you don't want to wear a mask, that it's maybe one of the worst things you can do. She talks about whether COVID-19 is really as infectious as you've been told and how it spreads. Make sure you stay until the end, because we both have some very hopeful messages for you. So welcome to the Vibe Show, Dr. Judy Mikovits.
Thanks so much, Robin.
Okay, so anyway, what this lady does is she explains everything about what this thing is here, the CO, the V, and the ID, and the 1 and the 9. I don't want to be censored, so I'll just put it that way. But she explains, because she worked with these things for 40 years. Very, very knowledgeable. She explains in there why we shouldn't be wearing these masks, especially if you're vulnerable, if you have lung problems, things of this sort. Very devastating, because it actually activates the very viruses that we already have within us. She explains how it's not being something that you're picking up from somebody else. She explains how the body holds on to it. And also, she brings out a lot of points of things that I had been bringing out before, like where I had made the statement, not only once, but a few times, that I do believe that if you keep clean and you don't touch the unclean thing and you don't eat the unclean thing, then you will not get it. You won't be affected by it. This woman here explains how it's triggered, how it's activated when they give you these vaccines, because in those vaccines are unclean cells from things like monkeys and abortions and things of this sort, along with mercury and other things. And she breaks it down to let you see. She doesn't quite understand the link that I've brought out about it, but she backs up these things. If you get a vaccine, you're very vulnerable, especially if you claim you're a believer. If you get a flu shot, for instance, those things are filled with unclean things. And it's not like even putting it in your mouth. It goes right directly into your bloodstream. So please consider these things. Pray for these ladies. Watch the videos. I'll leave the link. Of course, this here is an hour and 48 minutes and 18 seconds long. Make sure you got a cup of coffee or something sitting there while you listen. And please pay particular attention to every word that she brings out. She's so informative. And you'll see the evils of our government. They're all in on these things. She's crying out for their arrests. Those, the FDA, the CDC, all these heads, she wants to step down because of the evils that they've been involved with, all the bribes and everything else, showing there have been cures for things that the FDA will not approve unless they get large bribes and things of this sort. And just because it's going to help the people, they keep it from being allowed. Unbelievable how angry I am right now, but everything's come to a head, and let's cry out for judgment, my friends. Let's call out for judgment on these wicked and evil ones, that they may be brought under investigation, that they may be handed the sentence that they're deserving of, and I do believe that might even be death. So let's pray for these women that are strong enough to stand up, to speak what is right and what is true. And, keep them in your prayers, and don't forget to cry out for judgment. So with that, my friends, please listen to these things and pay real close attention to what this woman here says, Judy Mikovits, and share these things. Please share it. Love you all. And you're going to be pissed. Honest. Bye.